Welcome to How to Be a Person, a podcast about life with me, your host, Giuliano Grimaudo. Cathy, how's it going? Thanks for joining me today.
Yay, Giuliano. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. Let's just jump right into it. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my working title is Cathy Crawley, Laughing Bean Queen.
Wow. Oh, now. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay. For anybody that's listening, I don't know if I ever say this, but like I use a service called Podmatch that connects me with my guests. Okay. But because I started this, like the inspiration to start this show came from me having conversations with strangers. I don't really like check too much, right, to see like what is this person talking about, and normally by the time our episode is scheduled, I don't remember who the person is or what they do or anything. So I'm kind of going in these conversations blind. So I'm just telling that to the audience because they might not even know that. But as soon as you mentioned the laughing bean thing, I was like, oh, wait, that's sparking a memory in my head. Okay. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more about this. Tell me.
Right? How could it not? I knew it. Whenever I meet people and they're like, oh, because I'm always branded, and I know we'll talk about all these things, but I'm always wearing a worm shirt when I'm doing my worm stuff. So I'm always branded, so I offer simple solutions for today's challenges: worms for indoor composting, to amend the soil, to manage some of our trash. I mean, it's a huge thing, not just a little bit. Sprouts for eating, grow your own. And laughter for overall health and wellness. It's beautiful. Like it's really beautiful. It's a magic life. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. And following your conversation with Elizabeth about no coincidence and all that, I'm just rereading Celestine Prophecy, which I read in the 90s. And it's just been calling me. So I asked a friend, do you happen to have Celestine Prophecy? I lent my copy to someone because I don't have it. Yeah. And she did. And so it's interesting what you were talking about yesterday.
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, are you not? It's all about what you were talking about. Like there's no coincidence. When you meet someone, they have something for you. There's a message, there's something.
Interesting. Well, the three things that you talked about, I really do want to dig into. So another thing that people might not know about me, and you definitely don't know, is that I love comedy. And maybe every husband is like this with their wife, but I just feel like I'm constantly making my wife laugh. And she always tells me like, I'm actually funny. And she's like, babe, you literally need to get into stand up. And so I would love to talk about laughter. The other thing was about sprouts. It's so funny because I used to work when I was in high school. I worked at Jimmy John's, and we used to have sprouts to put on the sandwiches, and now they don't have them anymore. But I used to love them. Like I loved putting them on the sandwiches. So I'm excited to hear about that. And then the thing with worms, just like I remember when I first read that, because you said something about having worms in like every home, like that's the mission. And I'm like, okay, I need to hear about this because I have over the years, I've become more conscious about like the amount of garbage I produce. Right. So like I live, where I live right now, I'm in a townhouse. Okay. But the complex, the way it's built is like, we don't put our trash out right in front of our unit because we're all tied together. Instead of doing that, we just have dumpsters in the complex. And so I have to walk the trash to the dumpster. And so because of that, it's made me like hyper aware of how much garbage I'm actually throwing out, right? Because normally it's just piecemeal. Every time you have to throw something out, you're like, oh, toss it. And then even if you're putting it in your trash that you're putting on the curb, it's still like, you usually you're walking maybe 10 feet, right? From wherever the trash is in your kitchen to wherever the bin is. And then eventually you go push it out. But the point is that for me, it's like every bag of trash I have to carry to the dumpster. And every time I'm carrying it, I'm thinking, this is a lot of trash. Because like there was this, I don't know if it was like a documentary on Netflix or something that was talking about this, but it didn't hit me until I watched that documentary. Like, oh yeah, like we live this life. Like, I was raised, which I'm assuming a lot of other people were raised this way, is like, don't litter. And in my mind, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm doing my part. I'm not littering, but like all you're doing is just littering in another place. Right. That's really what it is. It's like, I'm not throwing it on the ground here. I'm putting it in this thing so they could go throw it on the ground somewhere else, because it's not like it just disappears, right? When you're a kid, you don't know. It's just like, oh, it's just gone. But it's like, as an adult, you're like, dude, that's not what happens to the trash. Like they're literally throwing it on the ground somewhere else in another place so that you just don't have to see it. But it's like, it's still there. Like there's so many things that I've thrown out since I was a little kid that I'm like, they're sitting in a landfill somewhere. And that's crazy to think about.
I love that. Yeah. Because awareness, right? It's all about awareness until we're aware. I came up with an expression, and it really had to do with my business, which I know we'll talk about, like the worms in the house. But it was, without awareness, action is impossible. And it has to do with literally everything. If you don't know about it, you're not doing it. So that's that.
Yeah,
right?
like you said, if you're not aware, you can't do anything about it because you don't even know that you're supposed to do anything about it.
You don't even know. Like, never mind there's a solution. You didn't know there was a problem.
Yeah. See, the thing is that all of us are born into pre-existing systems, right? Like, and I think that's true in a lot of different areas of life. And for me, one of the main things, and I talk about it a lot because it's something that I've become more aware of over time, is like when it comes to like medicine and like doctors and all of that. And like you realize, okay, I was born into this system and I just never questioned it. But I think that like garbage is the same thing. Like we're all just born into this system where we're like, we feel so good. Like when we're not littering and we're throwing it in the trash bag and all that stuff. And you feel like you're doing a good thing and you realize, oh, it just ends up on the ground somewhere else. And same thing, even with recycling, right? There's some crazy statistic about what percentage of what you throw in the recycling even gets recycled. Like it's a really small percentage. And you're like, this is nuts. But we were just born into a pre-existing system that like you have to be really intentional to separate yourself from it if you actually want to, you know, change it or make an impact on, you know, or what I mean is change the negative impact that you're having on the earth. It's like if you want to change it, you have to be super intentional to like detach yourself from it.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. And then multiply your one action by however many we are in the world.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny you say multiplying though. That's part of what scares me is because I'm thinking about all my trash and I'm like, I'm one of 8 billion. Right. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. We're throwing out so much. There's so much trash, you know?
And that's why it can be overwhelming. And that's where the laughter comes in for me, to be honest. Because the worm mission is really heavy because we all eat. So here's how I got into the worm thing. I'm in Canada, just north of Toronto. And in 2002, the landfill for the Greater Toronto Area closed. It filled up. The landfill filled. What? And the government doesn't have wherewithal to go, oh, we better have a plan. They only have 3 to 4 years. Right there, the comedy again. I'm glad you're talking about comedy because but because if we're not laughing, we're bawling in the corner, and then we're not helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, we're stressed and we're just like we've given up. When we're laughing, at least we're hopeful.
So what happened though when that landfill filled up? What happened?
You want to know what happened? So 6 million people in the Greater Toronto Area. 2002, the landfill closed. That's a lot of garbage. That's a lot of people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Think about your one and then 6 million people.
Yeah.
Wow. We didn't have a plan. So Canada is second largest country in the world. We didn't have a plan. We started to export our garbage to Michigan. We put it.
What?
We put it in your ground.
Whoa.
What?
Well, I guess it just shows we had big landfills apparently that we could handle it from Canada.
Here's what happened with the government. So they don't have a plan. So Michigan used to be the automotive capital, right? Yeah. Ford, GM, and Chrysler, all their headquarters, all there. And then they all went away because everyone started making cars. Even Canada made cars. Their industry went away. And I mean, I make a lot of jokes. I love that you love comedy because it's, for me, I'm very sarcastic and I throw in humor just for myself because you know, when you know stuff, you know a lot, and it feels like people are like, why don't they know what I know? What's wrong? Like, or why are they just blind? No, people can't know everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really hopeful, because if we all tap into what we're passionate about, then the world will be healed because we'll all be doing good stuff.
I love that
Anyway,
so much. Wait, hold on. Before you keep going, I have to tell you, you haven't listened to the other episodes, but that's what I feel like you said it so perfectly. This is what I've been talking about for a long time, is that it's really easy to feel helpless and feel like, oh, I have to worry about every problem that's going on in the world. And there's this tendency for people to be like angry at other people who don't care as much about the problem. Right. But the point is that if we all focus on what our strengths are, what our passions are, the things that we want to make an impact on, if everyone did that, then like you said, the world would be a better place for it. So I love that you said it. That's literally like the exact same thoughts I've been having.
Right. And then we're living our purpose.
Yeah.
We're living in flow because things just happen magically. Like who would, so many things happened. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the landfill closed. Oh, you disappeared. What happened? There you are. I don't know what's happening with my laptop. Funny
no
things
problem.
are happening. So 2000, our landfill closed, and so many things you were talking about.
Well, yeah, you said you started exporting it to Michigan and
right. But how did I get to worms? Like, yes, in your conversation with Elizabeth, you were talking about this thing happened and that to meet your wife.
Yeah.
This thing, then that, right? All the things had to line up. So how did I get to worms? What? So many things. In 1993, I moved out of Toronto to Bradford in the little town I'm living in. And a teacher friend in 1993 asked me to look after her worm bin. What? Come on.
I didn't even know that's a thing.
Right? So I was an avid gardener and composter. I couldn't wait. I lived in an apartment in Toronto.
Okay.
So I couldn't wait to start gardening and composting. Great. So I knew about the worm compost, but I didn't want to have worms in my house.
Okay.
Okay. But I think that we should try things ourselves.
Sure.
Don't let people say you won't like that. Well, okay, good. Give me a list. Save me some time, right? What else won't I like? Okay, good. We might not get through this story. So I took on the challenge. It was horrible. I was a fruit fly farmer. Because I would just throw the food in, right? It's indoor composting, rotting food. I didn't want the worms in the house. So here's what it is. It's a container. It's like, are you familiar with regular composting?
I don't really know a lot about it.
Okay, so let's start there. So composting is nature's way to look after our organic matter. So food scraps, paper, manures, organic, like the wet waste.
Composting is basically like the original waste management system for the earth.
Yes.
Because technically everything is biodegradable. We've created substances that are not biodegradable, and that's why we have trash.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So
composting is basically like how you would imagine, like when you say, oh, something's biodegradable, it doesn't matter if I throw it out the window, which I don't necessarily recommend. I heard that's not true. But the point of what I'm saying is that, like, if you were walking in the forest and you threw, a banana or an orange peel down, that's the process. That's the same process we're talking about, right? But you're doing it in a
correct, intentionally,
space.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, with intention. So composting, you can add browns and greens. So your carbon, nitrogen.
Okay.
So it would be outside. It would be leaves, straw, cardboard, and then your food scraps from the kitchen, your garden scraps. You mix it, add water, and after a certain amount of time, it turns into humus, like it looks like soil. You put that on your garden, and your garden grows naturally. That's outside. So what I'm promoting is vermicomposting. So composting with worms in a container. They're not free range. Okay.
Someone's going to advocate though for free range worms. You keep these worms locked up all day. It's inhumane.
Peter's going to be knocking at my door. Oh, did I say my town? Oh no. I mean Bradford, UK. Fun. Come on, Pete. I got it. It's fine. I mean, can you imagine the worms outside? They live up to a year, but they can live up to 10 years. These worms. So I think by having them inside, you extend their life. They live a cozy life, and they have 5 hearts each. They have 5 hearts.
What?
They eat half their weight. Oh, all this stuff it's amazing. That's why it's like, wow, it's
okay, but wait a second. If you have worms that live 10 years, like that's like a pet. Like, do you know them? Like, do you have names for them? Or is it like a lot? Is it like dozens of worms?
It's thousands of worms.
What?
It's tens of thousands of worms. Well,
Wait.
in a pound of worms, 800 to 1,000 worms in a pound.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of worms. I clearly very much underestimated how many worms we were talking about. I'm like, what, like a dozen or a few dozen? That's crazy.
So these are not the bait worms. These are not the honkin', dew worms, the
Okay.
night crawlers. These are they're red wigglers. They're cute. Like they're red.
Yeah, just like when you picture a worm, right? Like,
yeah, they're small. Like they're smallish.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't want anyone to have nightmares. Or to turn away. Keep listening,
Yeah.
everyone.
But that's so cool though, like that they live for 10 years. That's nuts.
Well, they can. So they regulate their own population. I mean, it really is a very cool science experiment. Anybody that's into science, this is all science. But you don't have to be a scientist, just curious. Just interested in, and I think that's one of the magic things of composting and having a worm bin is you get to watch your banana peels and apple cores and your paper transform into black gold. And then you take that soil and you put it in your garden. And when you're gardening or tending to the worms, you're not on your technology. You're slowing down, you're earthing, you're connecting with the microorganisms. There's so many lessons in the worms. And here's another thing. So the worms eat half their weight. They turn garbage, what we call garbage. It's not garbage. It's a resource, but because we call it garbage, it is. It's food for something. It's food for the worms. And the worms are the top predators. What's really fun is people will say, I don't mind doing this, but I don't want any other bugs. It's like, well, it is all bugs. It's a whole whack of microorganisms, like bacteria. Like people love these words, right? That's why they have all these sprays. And don't spray things, people. Stop spraying all the microorganisms because we are bugs too, right?
Yeah.
It's a metaphor. The worm bin, what I've learned, so I started in 2002. It's 23 years, almost 24 years selling worms by the pound without repeat customer. I mean, it's a ridiculous business model, but
Like they live for 10 years, so.
But it's a great
but like
life.
you said, they regulate their population as well. So like, is it
do.
the case that you just buy the worms and then the one time and that's it because they're.
Yes, because they reproduce for more than rabbits. Like people talk about rabbits. They got nothing on worms.
Wow.
It's really beautiful. Like it really is a beautiful thing. And I wasn't always attached to the worms. They just came to me, and that first experiment, taking care of my friend's worms in 93, that I'm like, no, I put on large gloves. I wanted the black gold, but I didn't want to do the process, right? Isn't that a metaphor for life too? We want the end result, but we don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I don't know, I might sound stupid asking this, but the dirt, is that essentially worm poop?
Right. It is.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. That's what I'm just curious about. Interesting. So I think what I'm curious about is if someone was like, I want to do this, what is the impact as far as like, okay, so let's say, for example, you're like, oh, if you do this, you're going to throw out 10% less trash. It's like, okay, like, I don't know if it's worth all that effort, but if you're like, hey, most people who do this are dropping like the amount of trash they're throwing out by like 75%. It's like, oh, okay, well then that might be worth it, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm curious about like what the impact looks like as far as like if someone decides that, hey, I want to do this.
It depends on lifestyle, but here's what happens when you compost your organic matter. You take the stink out of garbage.
Oh, I never thought about that.
You take the stink, right? That's the stuff that rots and right? So you take that out. That's the weight. That's the gooey, drippy, if the bag has a hole in it. Oh,
yeah.
Right? It takes all, who cares? Now you got recycling, you've got your paper, your cans, whatever, bottles.
So does the compost bin not smell?
No. Oh, thank you. Right. Because people are like, okay, yeah, I don't want bugs and I don't want smell. Thank you. Good. It's aerobic process, meaning with oxygen. like aerobic exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
The worms, it's so meaning with oxygen. So the worms breathe oxygen like we do. It's like a built-in mechanism. If it smells like rotting food, that oxygen has been converted to gas. It's now methane, right? More science. How fun. And action is required. Because there's so many worms, it's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to have the right temperature, moisture, airflow, and you will have different organisms. Like these microbes are so cool that you might have an explosion of springtails, which are one of the smallest insects. And they're called springtails because they've got like a little furcula for a tail, and they like boing around.
What?
And yeah, they're like, and so if you can see them, you have a really healthy population. They're present in all healthy soil and compost. They're present, but they freak people out, right? They're like, I don't know what that thing is. It's like, they're like, what do I do to get rid of it? It's like, no, you don't want to get rid of it. Just change the temperature by 1 degree, or add a little moisture, a little drier. You're going to have different organisms. There's a thing called so there is decomposition going on. So you do have to have holes in your bin. So here are the 3 key ingredients: temperature, moisture, and airflow. Temperature, 60 to 80 Fahrenheit. What is that? 18 to 25 Celsius, because I'm bilingual. Moisture about 75% humidity, so fairly moist, but you don't want pools of water. They're not fish. And then airflow, aerobic, so you can't have them in a sealed container. That's basically it. The worms are so adaptable, and then you add your chopped up food in the bedding, which is your shredded paper or whatever. Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah.
What someone normally does, is this like normal composting that people would have worms, or is this like different than like when someone talks about composting?
Yeah, composting is a thing, and then worm composting is another thing. You can have worms in your compost without it being like necessarily vermicomposting.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I just didn't know about it because in my head I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. But then I'm thinking, wait, if you don't have worms, how is this working? It just feels like it's just shit being like stirred in there, you know?
No, it's all the organisms.
But it's the bacteria in that
bacteria
situation,
and all those microbes, and they're present in vermicomposting too. It's very cool. Like, that odor that we smell is just that's another kind of bacteria. It's another kind of organism. That smell, it's not good or bad. It just is without oxygen. Those are organisms that don't require oxygen.
So if just regular composting and worm composting accomplish the same thing, like why would someone choose to do worm composting over regular composting? Is it like faster? Is it does more volume, or what's the deal?
Back to Toronto, 6 million people, half live in condos, townhouses without space for outdoor composting. They don't have an option.
Interesting.
Before 2002, there's an option now. The government has a ridiculous program, but because that's what they do. But
so with regular composting, you have to do it outside, is what you're saying?
Correct. Yes. Just because there's so many things with, you've probably, well, maybe not, but there's composters that are outside and they're for residential use. They very rarely work unless you work them because they don't heat up. There's not enough space. That you like for composting to really be effective, you want it to be thermophilic, which means heating up. Thermo is heating. Worm composting is mesophilic, meaning even temperature, which is why it can be done inside. It's faster. It's an option for condo dwellers or apartment dwellers.
It is faster. That's what I was curious of. Like it breaks down what you put in there faster than typical composting.
It does. Well, I say that, I guess it depends. If, you can
I guess it would make sense. It does, right? If it's like, hey, this doesn't have worms and it's basically the same thing, but it does have worms and they're eating stuff. Like I'm assuming it would go faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's so many factors again, but just composting itself is a wonderful way to manage our scraps rather than putting it in a bag and put it in landfill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Composting is
I don't know if we hit on like what I was saying, what I had asked before about like the impact, like
The
how,
impact, how
you know,
much?
like how much is this affecting, like if someone chooses, okay, I want to start composting. I know you said it kind of depends on their
On
lifestyle, but
lifestyle, right? Vegetarian vegans would produce more food waste, more wet
mm,
waste.
okay.
Like there's so many factors in
Oh
that
yeah, because it's really
area.
about wet waste. That's really what it is. It's like
It
organic
is.
materials.
And it's not meat, like no meat, no dairy, no sauce. Like so there is a lot of it is basically your fruits and vegetables, coffee,
Mm,
tea, pasteurized, that kind of thing.
okay.
So, it really is about awareness again, because once we start to get acquainted with the worms, we slow down, we get familiar with this process. It does something to us, because then we're taking care of something
Mm,
that's bigger than us.
yeah.
It's because everybody eats, and we're going at such a fast pace now that we're not aware, and this just slows us down. And we can
Mm,
grow a plant. Even if you live in a condo, you can grow, some an herb, or you can grow, some greens, some lettuce or something, so
yeah.
that you can eat that, because our food is a problem. Like we've destroyed our food. So if we can get reconnected again, it
Yeah.
encourages us to do more, and it teaches the children how to make soil. Like people will ask me, oh, you must be a great gardener. And I said, no, I'm a soil maker. Because if you have good soil, the soil takes care of the plant, nothing to do on our part. All the
Interesting.
organisms take care. And I liken it to, and I really believe that the worms have such a powerful lesson for us. They're here to do such important work, and they've been around for millions of years, waiting silently underground. They haven't taken over yet, because then people go, "Oh my God!" Like when I talk about how much they reproduce, they're like it's a horror movie. I'm like, no, they've been waiting for millions of years till we're ready. And we're ready. We're at a crisis. That's why, like, we started to export our garbage. How
Mm.
irresponsible for us as Canadians. Doubly irresponsible for Michigan, because they're trading cash for trash. But
It does seem kind of crazy to think like, wow, you're spending money to like transport this trash to another country. I mean, you're already spending. See, yeah, it's so funny. Like, you talk about the metaphor of how it's like, oh, it's, it's, I feel like when you look at it, you can look at it from like all these different levels, right? Like
mm,
that I just said that out loud. I go, that's silly. And then I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm doing that right now, just on a smaller scale, right? Like when I'm done eating, I'm putting it in the trash bag. So there's one transportation. Then once the trash bag is full, I'm walking it to the dumpster. There's another transportation. Then from the dumpster, they take it to the landfill. That's another transportation. It's like, wow, that's kind of crazy, because you go back not even that far, and it's literally just from when, just like when I would put it from where it is now into the trash, it would be from where it is right to the ground, or like, to compost it. And it's like, oh, that's crazy, we already do that. We're already spending all this time, energy, money transporting trash. That's kind of nuts.
and the whole world is doing that.
Yeah. If you've ever wondered how I find all these awesome people to come on the podcast, the truth is I don't. I use a service called Podmatch. It works a lot like a dating app, but instead of connecting people romantically, it matches podcasters and guests. You set up your profile, and every day it sends you new matches. All the messaging and scheduling happens right inside the app, so the whole process is super simple. So if you've got a podcast and you need great guests, or if you want to get more exposure and be a guest on other people's shows, Podmatch is the easiest way to do it. You can sign up by going to joinpodmatch.com/howtobeaperson, or just click the link in the show notes. Okay, back to the show. Well, one of the
Right?
things you said
Wow.
before about like the connection with food, it reminded me of was earlier when I was saying about like how we're born into these pre-existing systems, and so we just accept them. And I've thought about that a lot when it comes to like our food as well. Like it's something where we just I feel like I got to a certain age where I realized, wait a second, what did they do like hundreds of years ago? Like I go to the store when I need meat. I go to the store when I need this. Like, wait, they had to go find it, or they had to grow it, or they had to kill it, or do all those things. And what you said about people like slowing down and learning it. But to me, it's not just learning it. It's like I can imagine that experience being something that ties people to, oh yeah, wait a second, this is where my food comes from. Because right now we're so disconnected from the process. We're so completely disconnected. And regardless of what you believe, let's say that like the question is like, is that how it was meant to be? Right. There's things that we outsource, and that's fine. Right. And that's totally cool. And I think it's just part of the time that we live in. But was food meant to be outsourced? Right. Or was it meant to be something where we were part of the process? Right. Like we raised this thing. Like that's what's kind of crazy to think about. Right. Cause my wife just gave birth like 5 months ago to our first son, and like we're raising him. Right. But it's interesting because it's like, there's also micro, versions of that, like in food, right? If you think about it, it's like if you're raising a plant, like you're cultivating this garden, and you raise it, it grows up, and then it feeds you, and you go, wow, this is amazing. But then also like being tied to that cycle of like, okay, now I've eaten this, but also I get to put it back in the ground, and it's like this unlimited, like, oh yeah, I get more food later. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry. I know you're probably, this is your whole life, but for me, I don't think about this all the time. But when I have thought about it, I'm like, man, how do we get more connected with that process instead of detaching ourselves from it the way we are now? Like this system that we were born into, that in my opinion is part of the reason why a lot of us have the problems that we have, is because we're so disconnected from what it is that actually makes us human, which is eating and raising, our food, whether that's animals or plants or whatever it might be. It's like that was like an essential part of being a person, like an essential part of being a human. Every single human being had to do that before. And now it's like, no, I don't have to. I don't have to have anything to do with that process if I don't want to. I can just exchange money, and I put this thing in my mouth, and I can go about my business. But it used to be every single human being had to do that.
Yeah, our whole day was spent looking for food. Like food was our whole preoccupation before.
Yeah.
It was survival. I recently heard the expression, it's the pursuit of comfort, or no, it's the pursuit of convenience that's killing us.
Interesting.
We have we get in our cars, we have heated seats in our car, we have the same temperature. Like we never want to be too hot or too cold, or, we just want to be always...
Yeah. Which is so funny. It's so funny because then you have people who are like, and I've done this myself, of people who are like, oh, cold plunges, they're great for you, right? And so everyone's doing cold plunges, and you're like, you were just getting that naturally by existing as a human being without air conditioning or without heat. You were getting those benefits before. They go, the benefits, all these benefits. It's just like, it's so funny, right? But it's like, dude, yes, there's all these benefits because you've been deprived of all of those things because of all of the modern conveniences.
Right? Exactly. Like, yeah. So what you said is exactly true. It's not just food though. And I know you know this.
Yeah.
It's our medical system. It's our education system. It's the banking system. All the systems are flawed because it's the system that's set up somehow. I don't know how we bought into all of this, but we did.
Yeah.
And awareness, thank goodness for the time we're in, because we are becoming aware. And once you have one light, there's no more darkness. It just gets lighter as more people get aware.
It's true. It's
right?
True. Yeah. And it's tough because I love my air conditioning. Right. I live in Arizona, and I'm like, I would not be able to live here without air conditioning. Right. I love it. I love technology, right? The fact that I get to have this conversation with you while you're in Canada and I'm in Arizona, it only exists because of the fact that not everyone had to spend all day just to survive, right? Like collecting food and raising cattle.
Absolutely.
And all those things, right? All of those things exist only because of the fact that we learned to outsource those things, right? And like someone was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be the one who does the food. You go do what you want to do, right? You go handle this part of life, and you go handle that, and we'll just trade later, like let me handle the food thing. And like then we eventually ended up where we are right now. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's I wish it were black and white, but it's just not, right? It's so gray where you're like, man, I get it, but I love, like, it is a core memory for me coming inside from the heat as a kid into a house that's air conditioned, right? Like, it's like it's like burned in my brain. I just remember that feeling as a kid because we had a pool and it was like summertime, and like my point is that it's part of the way we live now, and there's no like undoing it. So the question is then, okay, well, but how do we get back to the things that do connect us to our humanity, and still be able to benefit from all the advances that we've made,
I think just getting out in nature, nothing wrong with enjoying the creature comforts. We're so smart. We have them. I mean, I couldn't live in Canada in the winter if I didn't have heat.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like you, I love going out on a really freezing cold day. It's so cold. Your nose hairs freeze when you breathe in through your nose.
Yeah.
And then coming back in and feeling the heat. It's like, wow. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there's anything wrong with the creature comforts. We just need to get outside more. We just really need to get in nature because there's something healing about nature. It's not just an expression. It's not just for the tree huggers or whatever. There's really something in this.
Yeah. And you know what it makes me think of is what you were saying before about awareness. I think that's part of it, right? Like when you're talking about the composting and you're like, it's hard to describe. You just realize that you're part of this process. And it's like, yeah, that's it. It's like awareness. It's because of the fact that we were born into a system where we're disconnected from it by default. It's like, then once you reconnect with it, you go, oh, oh, I see. Right. It's really easy to be caught up in like all of the modern, like, routines, right, and habits and the way everything is, and like that disconnection from who we ultimately are as human beings. But that's also okay, right? That's what I think is important. Like, and you said this too, is that it's okay, right? This isn't like a demonization of modern things. What it is like, it's just like you were saying before about awareness. It's like, you just, once you're aware of this, then you go, oh, okay, this is a part of me I didn't realize. This was like a need that I had that I didn't realize I needed to fill. And now I'm aware of it. And okay, I'm enjoying being a part of this process. Right. And maybe, it's composting because that's not only is it connecting you to that part of your humanity, but it's also, helping us not destroy the earth at the same time. But it could be something else, right? Where someone is like, they go on hikes regularly and they're outside, or maybe they go grounding, or which, yeah, that's another thing, right? It's like everyone used to walk on the ground. Now it's like a thing. We're like, oh, let's go ground. Let's do this thing where our feet touch the ground. And you're like, can you imagine talking to someone from like a few thousand years ago? They're like, there's this thing we do and it's called grounding. I'm like, well, tell me about it. You're like, we just put our bare feet on the ground. They're like, I'm so confused. Like, that's literally just life. What are you talking about? But that's the point, right? It's absurd to talk about now because you're like, wow, that's so funny. But like, it really is true. Like, honestly, there have to be a lot of people who their feet never touch the ground. Because if you, like, you're either in your house, like even if you're in your house with no socks or anything like that, right? You're in your house, which means you're not touching the ground. And then when you leave the house, you're wearing socks and shoes, you're wearing flip-flops or sandals or whatever it might be. Like, there has to be like a bunch of people who like literally their feet never touch the ground, which is crazy to think about. And it's not a judgment. What I'm saying is like, it's crazy because, like I said, those people thousands of years ago would have been like, what are you talking about? Feet touch the ground. That's all my feet do is touch the ground. And now we're like, it's the same thing with the cold plunge. We're like, there's all these benefits to putting your feet directly on the ground. You're like, no shit. Like, hello. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
It's so funny because it's just right there in plain sight. It's right there. We just can't see it. We're so busy. Like, I think that was one of the gifts of 2020 was the stillness. I mean, I know it caused a lot of chaos and a lot of chaos is still ensuing from that time. But there was a lot of growth and a lot of rebirth and a lot of awareness. Like in Canada, we were locked down for 2 years. It was a lot of thinking time. And and about my three strands, the worms, the sprouts, the laughter, before
Yeah.
2020, I thought I was a juggler. Like, what do you
Okay.
want? I got it. You need worms or you need sprouts or,
Okay.
what do you need? Right. I really thought they were kind of separate things. I didn't know how, like, these are three random things, but you can't make up what you do. It comes to you and you got to do it.
Hmm.
Otherwise you get sick.
Yeah.
I truly believe that
I agree. I agree.
right. You get an idea and you're like, oh, and you get all fired up, but then you're like, oh, you talk yourself out of it, or you say it to someone else and they're like, oh, that's stupid. You're never going to do that. So you're like, oh, you're
Yeah.
right. And then you put it on the shelf and you close it away, and that you put it in a compartment somewhere and it's gone. and but it's still there because I think that those are gifts. I really think those really are I don't know, from somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know why I said that.
No,
Where
you were
were we?
saying that you had those three things. You used to think that you
Oh
were a
yeah.
juggler.
And then 2020, right? The shutdown time and all this thinking time. And I realized, wow, all three of my offerings are just a wonderful life because it is what I do. It's,
Mm.
how I make my, random, I need lots of variety. So it's good. I have lots. And I don't have a fear of speaking. So I speak a lot. You know, I, I was doing the gig economy long before the gig economy was here. It was kind of all about that. Like when I started my business in '02, I was like, I don't want to do this part-time. I don't want to work full time and then come home at night. Like at night, I want to just chill. If I'm working, I'm working. If I'm doing a business, I'm doing that.
Mm.
So, so at the beginning, it was hard. Like I was selling worms. I thought, I was like, oh, everyone needs this. This is so important. I'm saving Canada and therefore the States too, therefore the world. Um, and I realized early on that people don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. They didn't want what I was flogging.
Mm.
At least not everybody. Like this was hilarious. Like so many lessons. I have a psych degree, so I'm fascinated by people.
Okay.
And like so many stories. That's why, like when you said about comedy, I'm working on a stand-up show.
Oh, really?
And it's going to be all about worms. It's going to be all my worm stories. Like I have so much material.
That's amazing.
I'm not sure how to organize it all. There's so much. I don't know it's all funny. But I think people might be grossed out. I don't know if people will come to a show about worms. I'm not sure.
All you can do is like you said, the gift is given to you. You just go do it.
I thought it would be a great way to get the message out, at least, like
Yeah.
without awareness. And now you're aware. If you live in a condo, now you know you can
Mm.
have worms, right? Because
Yeah.
I didn't want people to come to me and say, "Oh, I've lived in a condo for 20 years. I didn't know." I was like, whenever I heard that, I was like, oh, that's on me because you didn't know because
Mm.
I knew and I didn't tell you.
I see. Yeah,
Right?
because
I
people
feel
just
like,
assume, oh, you have to have a yard and blah blah blah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be outside and all the things. No, it's my role, I thought. So that's why I took on school
Mm.
workshops, but I went on I missed a whole big piece there, but yeah,
It's
I'll
okay.
listen to the replay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. So tell me about the sprouts. I want to talk about the
Okay.
sprouts because I actually, like I told you, I really like them when I worked at Jimmy John's. Oh yeah, sorry, I realized now you're in Canada. You might not even know what Jimmy John's is.
I don't, but I imagine it's a restaurant.
It's a sandwich place,
Okay.
and it's yeah, it's just fast food sandwiches and it's like cold cuts, whatever. And they always, when I worked there, they had sprouts. But I think what happened was like over the years, there just kept being like salmonella random like stuff. And I think they were just like, you know what? Nobody really likes the sprouts anyway. Like it's not a big menu item. Let's just get rid of it. I think it was just kind of, that's my interpretation. I think it was too much trouble for
Too much liability.
Yeah. But I loved them. Like I loved putting them on the sandwich. There's something about them that like, I mean, I guess I don't know what grass tastes like, but like it's kind of, I imagined that that's what grass tasted like when I would eat it. And I know that seems silly, but it's kind of like almost like, if you put mustard on a sandwich, when you do that, it's not like you would eat mustard on its own, right? You're just like, oh no, it's just kind of providing like an interesting, spicy contrast of flavor to it. And that's to me what the sprouts were. It's like when I put it on there, it was like, I wouldn't just eat the sprouts myself, but on a sandwich it provided this like interesting, earthy kind of contrast. So anyway, I like sprouts. So I'm curious to hear about like how that ties into this.
So I did a lot of exhibiting with my worm business. A lot. Before 2020, between 100 and 200 events a year.
Whoa.
I know. Wow. I was a hamster. It's okay. It's fine. I'm a recovering hamster now. That's so funny. I should write it down. I'll listen to the recording.
Yeah, no, you have it saved.
So the very first event that I was exhibiting at in 2002, the very first event, I met this man. There was a man there exhibiting this sprout grower. And I'm doing this. It looked like a spaceship, like the size of a dinner plate, food grade plastic stainless steel mesh. And it was literally flying off the shelf. This was a garden event. So when there was a break in the audience, I was like, what is that? Not in a rude way. He was 72. But I said, what is that thing? And why are people buying that and not my worms?
Yeah.
And he was 72. So I come from an employee background. I didn't know anyone that worked at 72. So first of all, there's this old man working still with this cool product. And he told me all about sprouts. He was a professional ballroom dancer. Wow. So a gentleman, right? His white, crisp shirt with his black vest, handing out samples. Anyway, very cool. And I didn't know about sprouts or sprouting. And so he said, oh, it's a sprout grower, told me all about them. So so in 2002, at that very first event, I said, okay, I'm in. I don't need to know why something works. Like if something works for you, maybe it'll work for me too. That's what I think. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'm in. So he said, if you're going to do this, start your day with 2 tablespoons of sprouted mung beans for the enzymes. I'll tell you in a moment about all the goodness. Okay. And so I was like, okay. So for 10 years, I started I've eaten sprouts for 23 years every day.
Whoa.
I don't go a day without sprouts.
I realized how stupid I sound having explained to you what sprouts taste like when I'm like, duh. Maybe that's just for somebody listening. I just was like, wow, I just realized how stupid that was. Me being like, like mustard. Like, oh yeah, duh. Of course you know what sprouts are like.
No, it's perfect. Don't say that. It's perfect. Yeah. So for 10 years, I would start, eat the sprouts. And then I would see Tony at all these events. In 2012, at one more event, he's 82 now, still working. He said, hey, why don't you sell the sprouter with your worm business? And I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I? I love this product. Like, why didn't I think of that? So I had a very confusing booth. I would have worms at one end and the sprout grower on the other end. And people would see this like dome thing sitting there and they'd be like, is that the worm bin? No, you eat those. And those eat, right? It's like, oh my God, this is so confusing. No matter, right? But divine intervention, I believe that's why I was put here, to educate about all these things. Okay. I think that's my gift, is that I learned something and then I'm able to impart the knowledge.
If you've been stuck waiting for the right moment to start your business or scale the one you already have, this is for you. OPM Mastery helps entrepreneurs get the capital they need, and you can get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes with no credit check. They've already helped over 1,200 companies secure more than $134 million in funding. Whether you need working capital, financing for real estate, money to purchase equipment, or you're just launching something new, they can help you qualify fast. Just go to funding.howtobeaperson.co or click the link in the show notes to apply now. All right, back to the show.
But here's the wonderful things about sprouts, why people want to eat sprouts and why you want to grow them yourself. Okay. They're hydrating, alkalizing, regenerative, biogenic, and contain up to 100 times more digestive enzymes than raw vegetables. So hydrating, as soon as we get thirsty, we're getting dehydrated. Alkalizing. So they help to balance the pH in our body. In an acidic body, cancer forms. Is this going to get rid of your cancer? Well, it would help. It would be helpful. It balances the pH. Yeah. I'm not a doctor, people. Don't send letters. Regenerative. So Alzheimer's is a degenerative disease. Does it grow back your memories? No, but imagine it fortifies your cells. How beautiful. Hydrating, alkalizing, biogenic. Probably one of my favorites. Second favorite. life force giving. You might have noticed I have tons of energy. I'm 63. I'm like this all the time. I'm just like, go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fake. It's because I eat live food. When you eat live food, you get the energy from the live food that I grew, right? So I have a relationship with that food. Then I eat it and it nourishes me and I'm grateful. And so it goes with a lot of things. It's not just that I grew them. It's that, my thoughts and that I sit and I eat them. I'm not eating them on the run. Well, I do sometimes, but right. Okay. So, and the most important piece is the enzymes, up to 100 times more digestive enzymes, which the enzymes, for anyone listening, are the part of food that helps the other pieces of food. They're the amino acids and stuff that help the rest of the food go where it's meant to in our body. So when we're born, we're given a certain number of enzymes. I don't know how many. And if we're not eating, salads and raw vegetables, we start to get digestive issues. And it's getting younger and younger because our food is so processed and it's broken. So adding sprouts to our life. So then we get digestive issues. We go to the doctor and the doctor says, here's a prescription for enzyme pills. Imagine if you could grow your own for free. Well, not free, but for pennies, right? It's very, very affordable to buy seeds.
That's so funny because I literally just bought a little jar of enzymes and I started taking them. That's so funny.
Oh,
the
my
timing
gosh,
is
that's
hilarious.
So funny, right? Oh my gosh, there's no coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There we go. There's more proof. Something I wanted to comment on was you had mentioned about hydrating. I am curious how much you know about this, but I feel like I heard something recently about how, like when we think of hydrating, we think about like us, how we've been drinking from our water bottles here, but that technically we don't, I'm not saying we don't need any water like this, but that like the food we eat also hydrates us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know any more about it other than what I just said, like the basics there? Because you mentioned hydrating, but do you know or anything else about it or no?
What do you mean? More than
anything more than just that, the basics that like, some food is hydrating.
Well, there is another part to that. It's movement. Some people will, like, especially as we age, and we're very sedentary, so our lymphatic system is not stimulated. Are you familiar with the lymphatic system?
A little bit, but I'm not going to claim to know more than I do, and I'm sure some people listening probably don't.
Yeah, during when the cuckoo time hit, I took a deep dive. I was locked in my house for 2 years, so I took a deep dive into laughter. I was already in the laughter movement, but so I was introduced in 2012 to laughter. Been laughing since 2012, but really took a deep dive. I've really been laughing with intention since 2020. And I attended a lymphatic summit. I was attending all the summits. I was a summit junkie. And the lymphatic, so I this blew me away. So we have blood in our body. It's pumped by our heart. The lymphatic system contains 3 times the amount of lymphatic fluid as blood. 3 times. And there's no pump.
Yeah.
There's no pump for a lymphatic. Wow. So, if you get swollen ankles, that's your lymph pooling there. It's not flowing. Yeah. If you get swollen face, maybe it's not flowing down like the lymph nodes. So, all of these things are a wonder. I can't remember why I started talking about lymph. What were we talking about?
Well, because we were talking about hydration.
Hydration, yeah. So I've also been introduced to Qigong, and one guy in Qigong said, before you drink the water, and then you do like where you squeeze your whole body, all your muscles, you tense up, and then you release. Oh. And like a sponge. So if you take a sponge, if you take a piece of a sponge and don't squeeze it, you just toss it on top of a glass of water or a bowl of water. Yeah. It just sits there forever. It doesn't go in.
Yeah.
Same with the water. So people will drink lots of water. Oh, I drink a lot of water, and then they're peeing all the time. So that means it's not going into their body if they're just peeing out the same amount that goes in.
Yeah.
So that's why the movement, like, right, gets it into our, like a sponge, like it gets it into.
I'm sorry, it's just so crazy. This is literally the same stuff that we were talking about with the grounding, with the cold plunges. It's the same thing. It's literally like, hey, there's these parts that, like this fluid in your body that like it needs to move around, so you got to get a rebounder and you got to jump on it and blah blah blah, right? And like same thing then with what you mentioned with your muscles. It's like you have to tense up your muscles and activate it. So it's like, so movement's really important. You're like, yeah, duh. Like I'm not saying that to you. What I mean is like,
I know.
It's like you said, like you almost don't realize it until you realize it. And you're like, oh my God, how did I miss that? Like, duh, we need to be using our muscles. Hello. We need to be like moving our bodies. Yeah. Hello. Like the temperature change has some sort of benefit to us. Yeah. Well, why? That's how could it not? Of course. It's like, that was the natural way that we lived for thousands of years. Oh, putting my feet directly on the ground is beneficial too. Who would have thought? Right. It's like, you're just like, oh my gosh. Wow. It's crazy. The more you dig in, the more you're just like, it's almost like I said, you realize it and you go, how did I not see that before? Like it just seems abundantly clear, like duh. And I like, it's just it to me, it motivates me to like get more like back to that that place, right? I have a rebounder right here in my office, and I got it specifically for that reason. Like years ago, I got it because I learned about it. Honestly, it probably was in 2020, which is ironic because you were saying that too. I learned about like the lymphatic system, right? And I was like, oh, okay, so I got to be jumping on this rebounder. And it's just so funny that in my head, I didn't think, oh, I could also just be moving my body more,
just
right?
Walking.
And I'd go and playing sports or like jumping around and having fun, right? All of those things are going to accomplish the same thing. But the rebounder is this kind of like modern way. It's like, oh, you want to move your lymphatic fluid? Jump on the rebounder for 10 minutes, you know? It's like, or
who has time for a walk in? Yeah, who has time for a walk in the forest?
Yeah, but that's the point, right? It's like you could just have an active lifestyle, or if you don't, here's a rebounder. You could jump on it for 20 minutes a day or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's hilarious how simple it is.
Yeah.
It's really funny how simple it is. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I really feel like there's so many areas we could go on.
So one of the things I'm curious about when it comes to the sprouts is, what does that look like when you're talking about growing your own sprouts? Like, are you using like the soil from the compost, or sprouts that grow without soil?
Ah, great. Thank you. That's why I said 3 separate things. No, the sprout grower is hydroponic. And it doesn't even need light.
What?
It can be done anywhere. So the sprout is in bean form. So the one that I'm doing this again, the sprouts can be grown in jars or paper towel. There's all different ways. This system was created because Tony realized he got food poisoning a few times from doing jars. Like, you just have to be really diligent, because it's live food. It's fresh food that you need to, keep fresh. So this, so you just have your seeds, and I would suggest having organic seeds, because why have the extra chemicals? The cost in seed form, the cost is nominal for chemical, or for chemicalized or organic. I meant conventional. Whoops.
Yeah, right. Because that's the truth of it, right? When you're saying conventional versus organic. Yep.
Right. I mean, okay. So you just put your seeds on the mesh, give it a rinse, and put water in the bottom. It's not soaking in the system that I have. It's not soaking in the water. It's got a plastic dome. So it's kind of like a microclimate.
So it's humid. It's not necessarily that it's in the water. It's benefiting from the water being in close proximity.
Correct. And it can be done in the dark, not in the window at all, because they'll be bitter. So, when people say, oh, I live in the basement and I don't have any windows, it's like, oh, sorry, you live in the basement, but you can still sprout.
But that's perfect, actually.
Right?
Let me tell you about sprouts.
Like when people said they lived in apartments with the worms, I'd be with the worms. They're like, oh, I can't compost because I live in an apartment. It's like, oh, good. This is for you. Thanks for letting me know you're my demographic.
Yeah. Interesting. So they are separate then. So, because that's what I was curious about. I didn't know enough about sprouts to know that it's hydroponic, which means then you're technically not using that soil, but you can use the soil from the composting to grow other things then.
To grow microgreens, like, so the difference between sprouts and microgreens are, this microgreens are probably what you're putting on the sandwiches, like with the leaves, which is fine. Once your sprouts have a couple of leaves, now they're microgreens. But whatever.
Interesting.
Who cares?
Interesting.
Yeah. Now they have different properties too. They have chlorophyll when they have the leaves. They're really superfoods. Like, you think about when it starts to germinate, everything's there to grow that little seed into a full grown plant. So that's when it would be most nutritious, most healthy. And so eating it at that form, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I remember someone talking about like broccoli sprouts. They're like, if you're gonna eat broccoli, have broccoli sprouts because that's when it's when it's the most nutritious. I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
because I personally love broccoli. I don't. It's so funny because my parents were both born in Italy. My dad was born in Sicily and my mom was born in Calabria, and I grew up, eating my mom's food. And I never understood when kids were like, "Oh, broccoli," because my mom always made it. It was just so good. Like, it was not. I think a lot of kids when they're eating broccoli, it's like just steamed broccoli and that's it. There's nothing else to it. And so maybe that's the reason. But it was just always funny to me because I'm like, oh, I've never related to that. I love broccoli. Like, broccoli. If I had to pick my favorite ingredient, not just my favorite meal, but favorite ingredient, it's onions probably near the top of the list, and so is broccoli. Right? Those are some of my favorite ingredients to have and stuff. Anyway, all of that to say, I just brought it up because we were talking about the broccoli sprouts, but it's pretty interesting.
Right? Yeah, so good. It's just so simple. It's really, all the things that I do are very simple. Right? Taking our food, it's maybe inconvenient, but it isn't inconvenient when we slow down and we're just in the process. And kids are amazing. I'm close to Toronto, so a lot of those children, have never seen a worm until me.
That's crazy.
Right. And then they're kind of afraid, and it's so fun. What a cool job I have. And I say that, I'm like, I have the coolest job. And then I go, accept your teachers, because I get to see you every day.
Yeah. I was just thinking, it just dawned on me. I feel like I used to see so many worms when I was a kid. And now I'm I feel like I don't see worms hardly ever. What was that about? Was I just closer to the ground? Because I was a little kid. I don't know what the deal is.
I wish.
Is it that there's less worms?
I think the worms are the canary in the coal mine.
Oh.
We put so much chemicals. We've really destroyed the soil, and the worms are the top predator. The worms are the top predator. I mean, they're not. I know there's moles and all those things, but of the creepy crawlies, they really are the top predator. There's all these mites and springtails and beetle, all the things, all the larvae and all that. The worms eat all of that. They eat the poop from all those things. And if it's toxic, it's toxic. They can handle a certain amount, and they're very tolerant, but then they die.
Yeah.
And when they die, same. It used to be really scary after rainy days. It was covered some.
Yes, there would be so many worms.
Wow. Yeah. And not so much anymore, because I think they're just not around. I think we've really done a number, and I think it's not just the chemicals; it's the whole farming practice, and it's the system, right?
Yeah.
It's the marketing. There's a lot of things.
Yeah. I've said this before on the podcast. I love making money. Okay. I think money is fun. It's awesome. I feel like I want to establish that. But I also think that there are certain things not up to my discretion to choose, but I think there are certain things that shouldn't revolve around money. And I don't know for sure, but I would say food feels like one of those things where you're I think that there is an advantage, and there is good in a capitalistic system. There are certain goods in it, is what I mean.
Yeah.
But then I do see that there are downsides to it in certain industries. And I think food is one of those, because when you look at it, you're if the motivation is to make money, then that means that inevitably there's going to be some sort of corners cut, right? And at this point, it's a circle, right? There are no corners. Like it's just a straight circle.
Mm.
And like when it comes to food, right? Because like what you're talking about is like the soil's being destroyed, all these things. But if profit was not the priority when it came to growing food, it would be a completely different story. I don't have a solution to that. I don't know what the fix is. But if we want to take personal responsibility and over our own circle of influence, then I think this idea of composting is part of the, a step in the right direction.
I don't think we can have awareness without looking at all the aspects. We can't just say we're spiritual and we're aware and all the things without looking at our food and considering it everything. I don't mean changing everything, but I really believe we have to be aware of those things so that we can we can't eat money. And I think there's a few things. It's not just food. There's a few areas. We touched on them earlier, but food, medicine, like, because it's like 5 companies that have the spray for the farms to grow the food, and then they're also the ones that are the dispensers of the meds. There's a problem. Like, it's a great effing business. Like, if you're talking about money, wow, look over there at food and pharma. Right. It's and thank God you laughed, because if we weren't laughing, we'd be paralyzed. And I think that's part of the problem, is that people are so afraid of what is. But the beautiful part is it's so hopeful, because we can take back our power. We can just buy some seeds and water. Maybe it's not that, T-bone steak or whatever, but you can grow nutritious, delicious food for pennies. So don't worry about starving, folks. There's lots of food. And talking about grass, you can eat, as long as you haven't sprayed chemicals, you can eat those weeds in your yard.
Interesting.
For the most part.
Yeah. Well, I like what you just said too, because I think that could also be a motivation for someone. I will say that it's funny, because for you that was probably just a footnote, but for me that's like a really big like spark for me to go, oh, maybe I should do that, because it, like, for the sake of self-sufficiency, because that's something that I've always thought about, is like, what happens if, I mean, not if everything goes to shit, that would suck. But I just mean, like, if I think, I think we all experienced it during COVID, when there was like no toilet paper all of a sudden. And it was like, oh, damn. Like, I kind of forget, right? It's the thing we were talking about before. Wait a second. I am totally reliant on this pre-existing system that I just always assumed would always be there. Right. And if it's not, you're like, well, what do I do? And I just imagine like that was toilet paper, right? What if it was food? What if it was water, right? What if it was something else? And so in my head, I go, okay, how can I be more self-sufficient? And the idea of being able to grow, even just like you mentioned, sprouts, microgreens, having a little bit of a garden, it's kind of like, well, it's better than zero. It's better than just being like, well, I'm just reliant, and hopefully that system that just fell apart is put back together, then they'll be able to feed me. And so maybe that's, a motivation for someone to do this too. Cause obviously I care about the impact I'm making on the earth. And I think most people do, to a certain extent. Like they don't want the earth to be destroyed, right? It's kind of where we live. But I think also everyone might have a different motivation for, like, maybe wanting to do it. And some people, it might be like, hey, I really care about the earth. But I like, that whole idea of self-sufficiency. I could see that being a really big draw for people to, composting and growing sprouts and gardening and all of that.
Yeah. 2020 was our busiest year with worms. It was insane. It was apocalyptic. Even it was what we dreamed of.
Yeah.
It was what we dreamed of, but not in that scenario.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, we made that happen. But it was weird. It was so strange because, everything was locked down. The schools were closed. So people were calling us. parents, we're homeschooling, so we're looking for a project for the
Mm.
kids, and we actually ran out of worms.
Whoa.
We couldn't, but it was like our phone was ringing off the hook, emails, like it was insane. I don't know how it was in the States, but we had, businesses were shut down. You couldn't go to
Yeah.
the hairdresser and the groom, your pet groomer, and nobody said anything about worms. So we deemed our business, necessary. Right? Like the future of food depends on worms.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just stayed in business, and thankfully none of our neighbors, reported us.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was, and so I think that's exactly it. I had a woman call me and she said, "Okay, I went to Home Depot and bought all my gardening things. Now what do? I want to have a garden." I'm like, "You went and bought all the things without like knowing what you want to do?" It was a frenzy. It was just a free, and I think that was the fear. It was driven by fear. What if we could respond instead? Like, we're ready. Being more resilient. Absolutely. Growing food. Like, again, you might get sick of eating sprouts, although 23 years I eat mung beans every day. And here's what happened with the sprouts in 2012 when he asked me to sell them. So I'm selling them. I only sold mung beans because that's all I had ever done in the 10 years. I'm like, I only ate mung beans. And I would have samples of the mung beans. And a woman came up and she said, "What if you don't like mung beans? Like, what else can you sprout?" And I said, "I don't know." And and she said, "Well, don't you get sick of mung beans? Like, this is my health plan, right?" So I said, and it's all perspective. I said, "Well, it's my health plan. Like, would you get sick of having tons of energy and feeling great? Like, I don't know, people do, right? Like, I'm 63, I'm high energy, have no health issues, take no prescription drug, no multivitamin. Like, I take vitamin C if I feel like something, or vitamin D or whatever, but I don't, I'm not in the system. I'm not in that system because I know the system's broken. I know it is. There's no room at the end.
Yeah.
And then once you get in the system, they got you.
Yeah. Well, and that idea of like, well, did you get tired of it? And it's like, I mean, I'm sure plenty of people get tired of taking all the pills they have to take every day.
I hope they do.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Is like, well, you're gonna. Which one would you prefer? Like, would you be tired of having to take the same pills every day, or be tired of eating something that's, like you said, you're gonna have high energy, you're gonna be healthy, and like, yeah, maybe even if you don't like the taste, it's like, so what? I guarantee you're not gonna like taking all those pills later.
Right. I think we're so complex, but so we're kind of really naive as people. We just buy into things, and the beliefs are so ingrained, and maybe it's generational. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That we can't see, but we can't see if we don't have awareness. So it's really wonderful that we're talking about all of this.
Yeah.
Because somebody will listen and they'll go, "Oh, I never even thought about growing my own sprouts, or having worms to manage my scraps so I could have soil."
Yeah.
Like there's a product that's blue, and and it's like, if you put this on your garden grows. It's like, yeah, because the chemical engineers are so smart. Of course it will grow, but it's not doing anything for the soil. We need to feed the soil, not the plant.
Yeah.
Unless we're just looking at, short term.
You might have heard me mention on the show that I drive a Tesla, and genuinely, it's one of the best cars I've ever owned. It's insanely quick, it's super quiet, it's cheap to charge it right in my garage, and for what you get, it's just a great value. If you've been thinking about getting one yourself, check out tesla.howtobeaperson.co. There's always some kind of special offer available through that link. Right now, they're giving 3 months of full self-driving for free, and some models are even up to $1,000 off, but those deals change all the time. So if you're curious, go to tesla.howtobeaperson.co or just click the link in the show notes. All right, back to the episode. So it's funny you say short term, because the question I was going to ask you was long term. What do you believe what's the long term vision, I guess? I mean, not just for your business, but if you're like, hey, the impact I'm trying to have, like the long-term ripple effect, even if this can, takes, 50 years from now, what is the end goal that you envision from all of this?
I really would love worms to be a household thing, just something we do. It's in every house, every business, every community. Wherever there's a blue bin, there's a green bin, or like a worm bin. I mean,
Mm.
you're eating your apple. Oh, there's the worm bin. You just toss your apple core in. That everyone's sprouting. My goal with the sprouter was every family that goes to the food bank should be given one of these sprouters, and then every month they get a bag of beans. They get a pound of beans. They can grow vegetables all month. Like that would
Mm.
be a month's supply for a family.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
simple. Not that it would solve
Yeah.
everything, but it would solve some.
No, it's a good
Or,
point, though. It's a good
you
point, right?
know,
Like one of the topics right now in the U.S. Was about the SNAP benefits, right? Because the government shut down that, like, people weren't getting
right?
their benefits to, buy their food from the store, and it's kind of like, oh, it's interesting, right? Like we have this perspective of like it has to be money, right, that people are getting in order to be able to buy the food. And it's like, well, what if the population was just simply educated on what to do with seeds, right? And what to do with XYZ in order to be able to, grow their own stuff. It's interesting. You know what I'm
Isn't it?
curious of? So
Mm.
I know I'd asked this before and it was household dependent, but I'm curious in the long-term vision, right? When you're talking about, hey, I would love for there to be, hey, there's a blue recycling bin and right next to it there's a compost bin. Um, what does what is the impact on the world if that were the case? Let's say that's true. Like here on out, there's no such thing as organic food waste being thrown in a regular trash and going to a landfill. Like what does that change?
It's really big. It's a huge impact. There was a couple of studies, and this is just local. So a couple of towns did studies on food waste. This
Okay.
was residential, so this isn't, grocery stores and all the rest. But
Okay.
if so, just on a residential basis, and they said that the average home throws away 25% of the food that they bring home. And for the visual, imagine you bring home 4 bags of groceries, leave one at the curb,
Whoa.
right? You're hauling it, and then you're throwing it away, and you worked hard for those dollars,
Yeah.
right? So that's a huge impact. And then, not to mention the greenhouse gases of the trucks picking that stuff up. It's
Mm.
emitting greenhouse gases en route. Yeah, the whole thing is just, and then we're making black gold. Like it's really a huge thing, and we've slowed down. We're getting good food because when you grow the food, you don't throw it away because you grew it. You don't care if
Yeah.
it looks funky.
Well, and also, what I thought about when I thought about the idea of growing your own food and all of that stuff, I realized, oh, also like it doesn't go bad when it's on the plant. So it's like you just pick it when you need it instead of you
Mm.
have stuff from the store that's already picked and you're like, oh, it's going to go bad. And of course, I mean, stuff does go, or like, stuff will go bad. But I just mean like generally speaking, it's like you just pick it when you're ready to use it and then that's it. Like the ground is keeping it fresh, right? Like just it's plugged into the plant, which is keeping it fresh. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Earlier you talked about how do we, how people were always looking for food earlier in earlier generations. There's an expression, eating in season. Like in Canada, we don't grow very much food. We import most of our food,
Yeah.
which was really apparent during the pandemic when our borders shut.
Mm.
Um, but we're meant to eat in season, right? We have winters that are cold and summers that are hot. So we're meant to eat berries and stuff in the summer. That's what we're growing, and salads and stuff. In the winter, we eat root vegetables. Like now we can get anything year round. That's not how it was before. We would eat in season, we would can, we would store, we would do and I know we don't need to do all those things because we have money, we can just go buy it and whatever. But you just set it. So the plant keeps it fresh until you're ready to pick it. So if we're getting bananas, they're coming from Costa Rica. They're picked not when they're ripe, they're picked green. So then they
Mm.
can ripen en route, but then they're sprayed with something
Yeah.
because you don't want to import the things from Costa Rica to Canada, whatever.
Mm.
And so there's so many issues. There's so many layers of grow your own food. It's more nutrient rich. You'll save money. You'll feel better.
Yeah. It
what
makes
what
me
are you
think.
doing? What are you doing anyway?
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
we
No.
rushing around? Why are we hurrying? Like going to the drive-through, getting our food, driving to wherever we're going, eating. Like, can we just eat? Like, what if we just ate instead of
Yeah.
multitasking? Because we know that we can't multitask. And here's something that we haven't talked about, and it's the state of stress. We're going around in this perpetual state of stress, and our body doesn't heal when we're in stress. So we'll need more pharma, right? Because we're not
Yeah.
sleeping, we're not eating, we're not whoa, we got heartburn, whatever. Because if we just sat down and we rested, maybe did a little prayer or whatever, just to, be grateful for our food. It's not religious. It just is sending good juju to your energy, to your food before you
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah.
It's not magic. It's everything is energy. And if we do everything with intention, it really changes everything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I was thinking when I asked you about what the long-term vision is and what the impact is, and I realized it's almost impossible to know, right? Because it's so many good things. It's like this kind of trickle down effect of you do this one thing differently, and you do this good thing, and you do it better, and it's like there's all of these downstream positive effects to it that um, it's kind of almost impossible to know. It's like, well, we would have, less stuff going into the landfill. We would have XYZ. More people would feel more self-sufficient. People would be slowed down. There would be more resiliency to the population because they would, not feel like they can't take care of themselves. People would probably overall be eating healthier. And if people are eating healthier and they're, right, like you just can keep going down. You're like, oh, well, if that's the case, then this happens. Well, then people feel better and they're going to do better with this. And if they do better with this, they're going to be more progress in this area and blah, blah, blah. Right? Like it's almost this kind of like ripple effect that you really can't measure.
Absolutely. That's it. You said it. That's it. It's again, not magic. It's like we can't connect the dots going forward. We don't know. I could surmise and say, this is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
And I can certainly put out there what I'm hoping, but it doesn't have, it may not, it depends how everything lines up.
Yeah.
We can only look back and go, oh, that's why. Dunk, all the things.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping as well. Cathy, this has been a really, really good conversation. I'm hoping that, anybody else who's listening is also inspired to kind of look into it a little bit more. If that's what they want to do, if they want to look into it more, if they want to connect with you, how can they do so?
My worm website is cathyscomposters.com. I can't export worms out of Canada, so but there's lots of suppliers and there's lots of information on my website. Feel free to have a look and like how-to stuff. And 23 years of information. It's good. It's like a little library. It's so good. Sprouts is Cathy Sprouters, and laughter. We didn't really talk about it, but that's for mental health, and we really have a global mental health tsunami. So we need that too. And that one is cathysclub.com. And if I may, Giuliano,
please,
I just talk about my free laughter club.
Yeah.
To you and your listeners, come and experience the magic of laughing for the health of it. I started my free online club in June of 2020.
Okay.
Right in the midst of the cuckoo time. I needed more. Celebrating 5.5 years of laughter.
Yeah.
Back to everything being, so it's cathysclub.com. The information to register is at the top. It's Tuesday mornings, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 30 minutes of super fun self-care. So let me just say that. I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong, all the things. But it's so beautiful. When I laugh, I'm boosting my immune system. I'm secreting all the love drugs, oxygenating my body, raising my vibration. Okay, that's just for me. I'm doing that for my house. I'm doing that for my town. I'm doing that for my country, therefore the world. And so I'm contributing, right? I'm giving. There I have all this energy. I'm like a fountain. Same if I'm feeling depressed, anxious, low energy, uncertain, sad, angry. I'm sucking it.
Yeah.
I'm sucking the global energy. And not, emotions and how we're feeling is how we are, but we can change our state. with intention, with awareness. If we know there's another way, and that's what I offer with my Tuesday Club is a wonderful way. I really just want people to feel good, because when we feel good, we do good, and the world really needs more do-gooders.
Yeah,
we need more light.
I agree, and I think it's also like a good example of what we were talking about before. That like when you do your part, that if everyone were to do their part, it would essentially fix everything, right? And like you said, if everyone is intentionally, like you said, kind of raising their vibration and they're contributing, they're giving out this positive energy. It's like you said, it raises everyone up, whether it's yourself, the people in your immediate vicinity, and like you said, all of those concentric circles all the way out to the whole world.
If you want to be happy, hang out with happy people.
Yeah. I love it. Kathy, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
I really appreciate you. You already mentioned the website, so that's perfect. Yeah, that's basically it. Kathy, like I said, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
And you. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review or share it with someone who'd appreciate it. For everything I have to offer, visit howtobeaperson.co.